Let me just check.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Very nice, very nice. So I'm going to pass it over to you, the microphone. There is no microphone here, but virtually, I'm going to pass it over the microphone to you, your side. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Give me 1 second so I disappear from the
All
middle of
right.
the
Okay.
screen
Of
so you can
course.
see
Yeah.
our panelists.
Yeah. So this is I think the beauty of digitalization or online. Now we are connected virtually. Now here in Japan, in Tokyo, it's now 8 o'clock p.m. So what time is it right now over there?
It's 12 in 12:03. That's it.
All right. So how's everything over there in Bilbao?
Pretty good.
Pretty
The
good.
sun was yesterday. Today,
Uh-huh.
it's good weather, and we are here. I'm going to introduce you a little bit who we are. Bueno, I'm Maite Jimenez from Venture Cafe Bilbao, Executive Director of Venture Cafe Bilbao. In my side, I have Sierra Lea, that he's from the Vizcaya government. We have also a Siorta, and she's coming from Mondragon University, BPF coordinator, isn't it?
Wonderful.
Yonande, that he's an entrepreneur and he's a founder of and CEO of Jam Global, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right.
Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Sounds great. So yeah, are you guys ready? If you're ready, I will just pass it over.
Yeah.
Okay, you
can. Go ahead.
All right, you can take it from here. So very excited. Look forward to it. Please.
All right. Thank you. So today we wanted to talk a little bit about a Vizcaya ecosystem and what we do, what we work in Vizcaya without entrepreneurs, and what we're working in different levels as government, as university, and even the experience of entrepreneurs. So maybe you could tell us a little bit more and better than me what you do and what you're doing.
What we're doing, well, in a nutshell, I guess. Well, first of all, good evening there in Tokyo. I belong to the regional government of the prefecture of Biscay, which is one of the main regions of the Basque Country, where Bilbao, its capital city, is located. What we have here in Bilbao and in Biscay in general is what you would call a typical ecosystem of secondary hubs that you will find in a very traditionally manufacturing ecosystems. Meaning we have 50% STEM graduates, which is great, engineers, mathematicians, all kinds of talent in that sense. You have big corporates. Iberdrola, which is one of the largest electrical utilities in the world, is headquartered here in Bilbao. One of the largest wind farm manufacturers is also here, Gamesa in Bilbao. So in that sense, you have all this bread and butter of traditional talent and big corporates for an old industrial society. That is good, but it also has its challenges. Why? And it's like much like you find in other industrial societies like Japan. When you come here to Bilbao and to the Basque Country, it's a lot like when you go to the restaurant in a winemaking region in Europe. So if you're in Italy or you're in Spain or you're in France and you open the wine menu, you find that all the wines are local. Perhaps you have one page of foreign wines. So you have to go to places where they don't have a local wine industry. I don't know. Well, nowadays almost everyone has Germany, for example, or Sweden, to find a lot of foreign wines and an international breed, international connection. What happens here is the same thing. We have a lot of local corporates, a lot of local talent, and we have been grown accustomed to being just ourselves, and we look at the world only to export, right? So when you're talking about international economic policy in the Basque Country, in this case, until very recently, they all thought like, oh, that's export policy, this is export promotion. I said, no. Now we're talking in a new brave world on which open innovation, cross-pollination between ideas, innovation often being done at the level of entrepreneurs, not just corporates, happens internationally and with international connectivity. So you cannot just have your own wine list for local wines, which is great to have your own local wines, it's fantastic. but it has to be all global, more interconnected, larger list. So with that in mind, what we thought is like, we have to, 4 years ago, what we have to do as a public administration is do that. Create that gap and promote that international connectivity, bringing connectivity with Cambridge Innovation Center, bringing connectivity with Venture Cafe, bringing connectivity with a lot of actors. Because nowadays, if an ecosystem, an open innovation ecosystem, and I don't care the size, it can be Tokyo, can be Berlin, but it can be Bilbao, which is much smaller. We're only 1 million urban or metropolitan area, but regardless of its size, if it doesn't have an international connectivity and a cross-pollination of international actors, it doesn't work. The old phenomenon of we have our local actors and the economy just grows by exporting does not work when you're talking about open innovation. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to create cross-pollination of actors globally, in a nutshell.
Sounds good, sounds good. Siorcha, tell us what you do by your side.
Okay, I'm Siorcha, and I'm coming from one of the main group of cooperatives in the world, industrial cooperatives. And I'm coming from the university that is also a cooperative. The thing is that some years ago, 12 years ago exactly, lots of companies from our group and from other groups, they were asking to us, telling that they need something different. They needed another skills, they needed another kind of knowledge, talking about soft skills, what we call soft skills. And in that case, we developed a new degree. We were looking around the world to see how we could do it, and we discovered in Finland one thing that we said, yeah, maybe we can do something like this. And it was like LEARN. We started with LEARN, that is leadership, entrepreneurship, and innovation. So with this degree, we are working 12 years nowadays, but in Bilbao, here in this case, we thought that we needed to do something different, not a typical university or a typical campus. No. So we create a Bilbao Innovation Factory, mixing different agents with the university, yeah, with this degree. This degree is, it's not a typical degree because they create their own company since they start the degree with 18 years old. Well, here we have a product of the degree. So, so you can see it after. And the thing is that we want to create, like, or develop new people, open-minded people, global citizens people, people that can live in this world, like this uncertain, fast, and this kind of new world. So in BBF nowadays, that we say that is one of the sexiest spaces in Bilbao.
It is.
And we have like the university with this degree, with more than 150 teampreneurs, because we talk about teampreneurs, because for us the team and the cooperation and the collaboration is super important. More than, I think, 10 nationalities in the building. And also we have companies, most of them digital companies, creative companies, but also we have co-workers, no? So we talk about lasagna model. It's like in the main street, in the main floor, we have like co-workers that nowadays this is like something new, but we want to create the innovation street. And we are creating now the market plaza. Like it's something like in Basque Country is super important, no? The street, the market. So in market plaza we are going to have the co-workers, but also we have this kind of product developers, makers also in the main street. And also we are going to have like, we have now in the first floor, but we need to put there, it's like a BIOC with, is the first biology community laboratory in the Basque Country. And also we have like the bar also, but the bar is not a typical bar, it's a place to connect and to be with others, because a lot of people that they are not living in our building, they have meetings in this bar.
Yeah.
And so in the first floor we have like the university. In the second floor we have companies, but companies that they need a place to work because they are nowadays more than 4 people. And nowadays we call them chocos. As you see, we are like creating also our Basque language inside the building, because we are local but we are international also. And also we have a lot of spaces to have meetings and so on. And nowadays, in the last floor, we have also a vertical with one of the more important company like is Dominion. FinTech is a vertical about finances and technology. And also we are creating like the corporate part, as I was saying to you, because we were like working a lot the academical part, but in these years we were like thinking how to start working with these companies that we were creating, because we create more than 25 companies in these years. So we need to give support also to them, no? And what happened after the university. So now we are like thinking in how to create the group, how to create the community, how to create a incubation and pre-incubation process, after also to connect with the tower also. So we are all the time moving, and we are a huge community. It's a young community with young people, but as we think that the future is there, we want to be also sexy for them, and well, we are full. So I think that we are having success, and with the new things we are creating, before motion also, they are coming first to our place, and well, also C2B, and it's like emerging a lot of things, and well, maybe Yonander can tell us what he is doing, but I repeat again that it's a product. It's one of our products.
I'm very proud of being part of the product from Mondragon Team Academy.
It's the beta.
I'm the beta. I'm actually from the, well, Minasama, konnichiwa. And well, it's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you very much for inviting and giving me a chance, because it's a big honor to be connected with Japan, because I've been traveling to Japan for the last 5 years, having visited 30 times Japan, which is quite enough time to understand a little bit about how Japan works, and I still keep being passionate about Japan. And first time I went to Japan, thanks to actually MTA. Well, I always call MTA because in Japan, I don't know, I always use that word, MTA, Mondragon Team Academy. And I was a graduate student from Lane, which is the 4 years undergraduate program that you have in the PPF building. And well, what I'm gonna say, I mean, I was in the learning journey, because one of the most important things that, and I think that one of the most interesting for Japanese people is that when we are in the university, every year we have a learning journey. And we go to Finland, we go to Silicon Valley, and we go to India and China, which I think actually India and China doing 2 months in each place is one of the most interesting learning journeys, because it helps you see the world in a different way. And in that week of vacation that we had, I decided to go to Japan. And I had no one that I know in Japan. I was in love with Japan. I think that many people are in love with Japan, and so was I. And the reason was, I'm not a crazy for anime or something like this, but it was like somewhere like I hoped to find the most innovative country in the world, which was my idea of Japan, which now is not the same, I must say, in the terms of entrepreneurship. Yes, in the terms of big corporations, but not in the entrepreneurship world. But well, I'm working on that too. And the thing is that when I went to Japan for the first time, as we are coming from, we have a very strong cooperative, which in Japanese is Kyodo Kumiai system in the Basque Country, but it's a Rodosha Kyodo Kumiai. It's a workers' cooperative system, which is a very unique. And Japan has mainly Seikatsu Kyodo Kumiai or Nogo Kodo Kumiai, which are agricultural or consumer cooperatives. And those cooperatives had a lot of interest in how the Basque cooperatives work. So I started working with them. So I decided to, after finishing MBA, my idea was a little bit, how can I connect the Basque Country with Japan? And for the last 4 years and a half, that's what I've been doing, starting from the cooperatives. But my biggest interest was that I was born in Guernica, the city of Guernica, which is very well known for gas painting. It's located in Vizcaya, in Biscay. And I went to Hiroshima, so my connection was like, how can I connect rural areas, or how can I connect like local areas, so they can cooperate, right? Like Guernica is very well known for having this bombing and the painting of Picasso, and Hiroshima is for the atomic bomb, and we both have a very strong connection. And so I went to Hiroshima, and thanks to the Seikyo, the cooperative network there, I got access to the city hall, and the city hall people, well, they were looking forward to do projects. And actually, thanks with the support of the Vizcaya government, like we could invite the mayor of Hiroshima to come to Guernica 2 years ago, and we planted a sapling of the Hibaku. Hibaku is the atomic bomb survivor Icho, and that is the, I don't know how to say, like a ginkgo, yeah, the ginkgo tree, the sapling of a ginkgo tree in Guernica. And together with the mayor of Hiroshima, the governor, the vice president, with the mission of connecting both territories. We still keep working on that. And anyway, in my startup, which is a very, very small startup, because my work is connect Basque with Japan. I mean, it's very clear the mission we have. I'm working at this moment with a team of 4 people, like we're 3 in the Basque Country and 1 in Japan. And well, we are working in 3 fields. One is marketing and consulting. There we have worked a lot with Japanese cooperatives, with Seikyo. As I said, like we organize every year learning journeys for managers and presidents of the cooperatives to come to the Basque Country and learn from the cooperative system here. And now also, like I think that everybody who is listening knows in Japan that Basque work has become very, very popular. That's also, we have been also promoting the Basque tourism for Japanese people to the Basque Country since the beginning, because we had clear idea that the Basque Country is a great gastronomic place, that the Japanese people love it when they come here. And now we've seen an increase in the tourism of Japanese people coming here. San Sebastian city is very, very well known, even Bilbao, Guernica. And we work with HIS doing this project, which is the largest Japanese travel agency. And also I've worked with the Japan Railways, which are creating a Shinyokubo food lab. And we aim actually to have a connection between the food lab here in the Vizcaya Tower and their food lab to do exchange of startups. But apart from that, what I saw is that there's a problem at this moment, and is that the Basque cheesecake is becoming an incredible boom in Japan.
Really?
Like, yeah, incredible. Like, it's like, what, if I tell you what's Basque cheesecake, what do you say? You don't really know what it is, right? I mean, it's like, could be the captopas, but it's not that. It's a cheesecake done in San Sebastian, in La Viña, in Donosti, La Viña in Donosti. Yeah. It's that cheesecake recipe, Lawson took it, and they created the Basque cheese, and it became a huge boom. And they sold in 1 month 10 million cheesecakes. It's incredible. So I thought this is not, okay, this is in one side very good because it's positioning the Basque food industry in Japan, but it's not benefiting directly our local economy. I mean, it's not benefiting the companies that we have in the Basque Country. So how can we get into this movement where the Basque food, Basque brand is becoming so popular in Japan? So I decided to gather 15 Basque companies thanks to the support of the Basque Food Cluster, and I started the export company in order to start exporting the food, the real Basque food, to Japan, because there are only in Tokyo there are 600 Spanish restaurants, and none of them have access to the Basque food at this moment, except some chocolate and some other wine. And well, another mission that we had from the beginning, as I said, that when I went to Japan for the first time, I got very in love with the country, but I also felt a little bit disappointed because there was no real entrepreneur culture in Japan. And I expected to find that culture, especially among the university, because coming from this university where we are super radical, we are doing a lot of projects. Like when I went to Japan, I realized that, wow, this is not going on in Japan. So we had the mission of bringing this system to Japan since the beginning of my journey to Japan. Actually, last year, one of the co-founders of MTA was visiting Japan. We were giving some workshops, and we launched a new team entrepreneurship program with Ethic. Ethic, I think, has some connection with Venture Cafe too. It's the entrepreneurial training for innovative communities. And it was the zero batch that we did as a test, as a prototype, and around 20, 25 young people who are like a little bit tired of the traditional hierarchic system, like some even decided to give up their job to join the program. So it was a program of 4 months, more or less, and with some meetings. And we had the winners last week in Bilbao, the winners of the program. Like they came, we took them to visit BBF and got very inspired. We did it just as a prototype. We are officially launching it in April of this month. I hope I can be in Japan safe of coronavirus.
Yeah. Let's see what happens with that. Congratulations with all of this. That's a good job.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, first of all, thank you so much for having you here and for your time. And for us, the first time that we're doing this kind of online Thursday gathering. So it's the first time for everybody. But I have some questions for all of you. Like, for example, in your case, like you're talking about religion in a region level. Could be, yeah? Could be. So which are the challenges that you can have? And also, like, there are like two questions in this one, eh? Like, which are the challenges? And on the other side, like, if, like, for example, Tokyo that we have now listening to us, no? That what they should know that they don't know about Basque Country to really be attractive to them.
Okay. Well, those are two quite different big questions. Starting with the first one, as a government, by the way, I come from the private sector. I used to be in the dark side of the force. Now I'm on the government for 4 years, trying to do what I call entrepreneurial governmental, which I know it sounds like oxymoron, but we're trying to do different things. And I think the challenges that you suffer you face as a government are not so different from the challenges you might face when you're working not as an entrepreneur, but as an entrepreneur within a corporate. Meaning corporates are accustomed to do things in one way. The bigger the firm, because they're very efficient. And innovation for them is usually doing gradually improvements rather than creating something that is groundbreaking. It happens, but that's usually not that often. So in order to do something that is, you said there has been a change of paradigm, and open innovation and entrepreneurship has taken over in the last 10 years, and our policies have to address that. It's not that different from what a lot of corporates have to do. So what I find out, because I come from the corporate world, I used to be, I was working at Bain Consulting for a while in London, and then I was in a couple of big corporates. And it's interesting because being on the government, trying to face this is not that different. Why is that? It's because we are facing a new world on which, for example, innovation is usually the mix of different areas. That per se takes people out of their comfort zone. Now, how as a government you can do that? Well, what we thought is we shouldn't do it. What we should do is try to create the kind of like do matchmaker. You allow me as a government. The first time I joined 4 years ago, I almost got fired for this. But again, I'm here to push people out of the comfort zone. I want to say, I as government, what I want to do on open innovation, on fostering entrepreneurship, what I want to create as a government is almost like the Tinder of open innovation. So what
sexy Tinder.
Sexy.
It's getting hot, this conversation.
Well, everyone understood. It's like I create a platform as government, and I bring different actors. I help the actors getting together, both local and foreigner. In fact, what I want to do is to create little embassies in different ecosystems. So we opened the Cambridge Innovation Center in Boston. We opened a little embassy. So our entrepreneurs and our corporates could go there, spend 6 months, and I helped them. But I was not going to do anything. And I want to help also our entrepreneurs and corporates to go to Tokyo. I want to help them, and they're already going to Tel Aviv in Israel. Also, we are doing other things by which we bring here acceleration programs. But as I said, it's about cross-pollination. And we create all these programs, and I could go with the shopping list and put all the medals. But the philosophy is that it's kind of like creating the platform as Tinder and see what happens. Because if I, as a government, as a corporate as well, I dictate this have to be the results, and I want X results, and this is the KPI as a corporate. Things are not going to happen. That's not how open innovation works. I have to set the direction, that's for sure. And I want to see results. And I want to see my entrepreneurs becoming better. And even better, I want entrepreneurs from other sides of the world coming here because that's what validates me. If I'm sexy enough for foreign entrepreneurs to come here and for my entrepreneurs to go there and create mixed firms and new ways of doing things, things are happening. But I'm not going to dictate what is happening. Much like Tinder is not going to dictate what is happening among the players. I know, no, I'm not going to use again the metaphor, but I think you get it by this point. So that's a little bit what's our philosophy. So for the last 4 years, we've been creating a lot of platforms. We've been, I think, after an Australian Launchpad, which is a program that Australia has for its entrepreneurs and firms to go globally, because Australia is far from everywhere. We are the second one, the second government on creating this kind of embassies. For us, it was more like, and now I'm going to answer the second question. The Basque Country, actually, interesting enough, even we are little, it's a lot like Japan in many ways. We're almost like the little Japan of Europe, because we are a very old, as you know, very old culture. Japan is an island. We're surrounded by mountains, which have kind of like a similar paradigm, meaning that we took things from other cultures, we made it ours, much like Japan did. We took the Portuguese word for thank you, and then you say, arigato instead of saying obrigado. And suddenly something that was Portuguese, it becomes Japanese. We have done that through centuries as well. We have one of the oldest languages in the world, the oldest language in Europe, actually. But we have taken a lot of words from other cultures, make it ours. We have taken a lot of ways of innovating from other cultures and make it ours. So that kind of, I would call it almost social dyslexia, is very common to the Basque Country. I actually traveled to Japan many times as well. Yeah, there are different things, but the basic of the society, they're almost also concerned about bringing a guest from abroad and being also, he has to understand us, and then when you introduce us to our friends, everyone who comes here is like, oh, people seem quite concerned about giving a good image about the country. We are very self-conscious that way. Also, quite often we are very shy, much like Japanese culture. So it's that kind of mix of having something very traditional, but also very open-minded to what's happening in the world and trying to embrace and make it yours what the world is. It's that level of creating a balance is very common to this Japanese culture, but it's very common to our culture as well. Mm-hmm. So and I think that's something that Japanese people do appreciate, and we certainly do appreciate when we travel to Japan. So well, there's a lot of things. Obviously, we are fascinated by culture, by food, as Japanese are. Depending which year, Tokyo has the highest concentration of Michelin restaurants per capita in the world. Sometimes it's the Basque Country, sometimes it's Tokyo.
Really?
We are also the second consumers of fish per capita after Japan, so also we are in this league.
Right.
Yeah, so there is also actually some of these fun anecdotes in which you see we are very interesting, and actually you listen to Japanese, the way they pronounce things is very similar as to how I say they pronounce things in Basque. So you would find something that is almost like the reverse image of the Japanese culture if Japan has been born in Europe rather than in Asia. So that's what I would have to say to you. And also, obviously, please do come, because we're going to go there as soon as this stupid travel restrictions are over, which should be soon.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
No.
You have any questions to us?
Yeah, following with what Asier said about that we have similar challenges between Japan and the Basque Country, but I think that one thing that Japan can really learn about the Basque Country, and especially from Biscay, is that in Japan there's a lot of the population in the rural areas. Yeah. Like rural areas are getting fully abandoned, and all the students are going to the big cities like Tokyo, Osaka, like Fukuoka, and they are leaving the rural areas abandoned, especially in the north. In Sapporo, like those areas in 20 years, 25 years, like there's gonna be like almost all the population is gonna be over 65 years old, and that's a big challenge. One of the interesting things in the Basque Country is that this doesn't happen that much as in Japan. I mean, for example, in my case, I travel to Japan 6 times a year, but I still wanna come and be in Guernica, my hometown, which we are only 16,000 inhabitants. but it's like we want to be here. And so many of my friends also want to be here. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs here, they want to establish and they want to set up their companies here. You see like huge corporations like Mondragon who have their headquarters in really villages. And thanks to that, like there's a lot of ecosystem in the villages here in the Basque Country. That's one of the things that Japan can come here to learn a lot. And that's one of the things I found, that many entrepreneurs or business people who I bring to the Basque Country, they get impressed by that. Like, why aren't these entrepreneurs or why aren't these huge companies in Madrid or Barcelona, which is very well known? And like, no, we are here in the Basque Country, in Bilbao, and we're very proud of being from here. And I think that Japan is there's a big problem with the population, and this is going to be one of the most interesting challenges for them, from where they can learn from us. And I think that in this definitely we can cooperate, right?
We could talk a little bit more about that. I have just one question. I don't want to focus on another thing, but is the same context, rural context, is similar Japan and Basque Country? Because I mean, Japan is much bigger, and I don't know if it is the same. I mean, I don't see Guernica as a really rural place.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too optimistic, but I mean, if that is a rural place, I want to see Japan's rural place.
I mean, no, Japanese rural area, well, when we say Japanese rural area in Naka, like actually when they come to Guernica has 16,000 people, but they don't think that's a rural area for them. Because the rural areas in Japan, maybe there are 200,000 people living, but it's really, really spread. For example, in Sapporo, in the northern part of Japan, like in Hokkaido, actually, there are some small villages where people have to drive 1 hour and a half to go to the supermarket.
Okay.
And there's incredible challenges like that going on in Japan. And it's like, of course, like the city structure is totally different, but I mean, the rural area, you see in the rural area, there or here. I mean, the problem is that in Japan, is everything very spread.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that was an idea, I don't see, because at the end, this guy is smaller than Japan in that sense. No?
I'm actually working with Yamaguchi city. Like Yamaguchi is very, very small. It has like, but I see very, very small. It's like Bilbao. It has 1 million inhabitants, but it's like the feeling when you go there is totally different. I mean, it's like everything is spread. You don't have public transportation, as different as in Tokyo, where you have an incredible public transportation. But the rural areas somewhere in Japan have got abandoned. And I think that there are actually many entrepreneurs in the food industry coming to the Basque Country to learn about our food, like food technology and everything related to the food entrepreneurship.
All right, interesting, very interesting. That's for the next time, eh?
Sorry.
Take notes, Tokyo, a rural topic.
Sorry,
Yes,
but also for me, because for me, Basque people, we are like nomads, no? Because we were traveling around the world, not now. It's not new for us. Yeah. Maybe some years ago because other things, but also I think that we are like Asier was saying, like we are like shy. I don't know if you are, but it's something. If you are with me, you are with me. So we have like this belonging of community. Yeah. No, this we have quadrillas and so on, and sometimes we think that we are like fighting each other. But in one moment, when we need each other, we are together.
Yeah. Well, that's much like Japanese history. Basques having the tradition of fighting each other, and then coming together with external threats. But speaking of Japan and the Basque Country, I was listening to you about how we are nomads because we are surrounded by mountains, almost like as we were an island but looking at the sea, right? Because we are in the Bay of Biscay, which gives the name to the Bay of Europe. From the Basque Country, going back to the religion, although I know you were in the region, one movement that was born looking at the world was the Jesuits. Yes. And the person who brought Jesuitism into Japan was St. Francis Xavier, Xavieru. And actually, what's interesting is that if you know Jesuits, it's kind of like a way of interpreting the Catholic Church with a Basque perspective. Like we're going to create a group, we're going to try to create education, much like Lane,
like Mondragon Academy. Because of this, for us, lots of times we use like this kind of examples. Because we have some values, and we have some values that are like live better than you found it, believe in teams, passion, and so on. So sometimes yes, you can talk about the religion. I don't
No,
know.
but it's not so much about religion, but it's a social
It's a
movement.
social
Yeah,
movement.
yeah.
And I think that we have something like this. And also we have here that we are from Basque Country. We are super proud,
Very proud,
as you were saying, and but also we are super open-minded.
Yeah.
And also as MTA, we are opening labs in China, in Korea, not at the university, all the universities are in these places. We are a little university, we are not a big university. We are also exploring Africa, and I know that we are going to go there because we have people in our teams that are passionate, and sometimes they have like, it's their life, and also because they are like living in.
Yeah, something that I wanted to ask you, like, what are the difficulties that you can have? Like, you're really open to go to China, India, and all these places, Finland. What are the difficulties to really go there and really make these young people to be open and make collaborations with all these different cultures? What you, and I know like the impact has to be big. Like, which are the difficulties and which one is the impact that you have?
Yeah, well, I was also working in private companies. I'm from Biscay, but my heart is in Guipúzcoa.
Really?
Because because I'm professional heart.
All right,
I'm
okay.
professional, sorry. Because for me, the cooperative movement was something that I love. Because I believe in teams. For me, this sentence that is, if you go alone, you go faster. But if you go together, you will go further. Yes, I believe in that. So for me, collaboration is something that we need to work in, and also in the way like open-minded. But I'm here in MTA 6 years ago. I started working in MTA, and my first time with the laners, as we call them, laners in China and India was 4 years ago. And when I go there, I was saying, oh my God, they do it. Because it was like something like, they do it, and they go, they talk, and they are like 20 years old, and they close, they are super close. For them, it's not difficult. Maybe in the beginning, because, in the first year, they go to Finland.
Yeah.
So they start like, when they are 18, yes, because it's the first time, so they think that they are going to do not a business journey, only a journey.
Yeah.
So they enjoy a lot, but when they can, they reflect, because also in our case, freedom is super important. Because if you want to develop skills, you need to know how to do.
It's not clear, as you said, no? Like, you have to make people do it. No?
Yeah, and it goes back, I couldn't agree more, it goes back to the our early point that, and we've seen that a lot when we created these embassies for our entrepreneurs to go into different ecosystems with CIC in Boston, with Sosa in Tel Aviv. If you take an entrepreneur from Tokyo, and you take an entrepreneur from Bilbao, and you take an entrepreneur from Boston, obviously, they're going to have different accents, they might have a couple of different things, but there is nothing more similar to an entrepreneur from Boston than an entrepreneur from Bilbao than an entrepreneur from Tokyo. In fact, there's almost, it's a like-minded. It's people who they're looking for challenges, they're open, the kind of energy they have in many ways, I mean, obviously other things, but in many ways, if an entrepreneur from Tokyo, and I've done this comparison throughout the world, Tokyo, Israel, England, Germany, Basque Country, obviously America. If you take an entrepreneur from Tokyo and he goes suddenly into the street and bumps into someone, and then you take this entrepreneur from Tokyo and you put him with an entrepreneur from, I don't care, Bilbao and Boston, he has more things in common in general, his personality, he as a person, as what he's looking for in life, his perspective, the things he actually makes him happy, what he's striving for, his dreams, he's going to have more things in common with this entrepreneur from Bilbao or this entrepreneur from Boston, then statistically speaking, that person that he's going to bump into the street in Tokyo. So nationality obviously creates common things, but being an entrepreneur, that kind of wave of mine is almost like an international nationality that put more things in common than your origins. Your origins are important. Roots are super important, and it creates obviously language, the accent. But there is also a wave of mind, a wave of thinking, a wave of wanting things, almost a personality. There's almost, I think, it's another kind of nationality. So international entrepreneurs have more things in common among themselves than they do with the people in the in the streets.
Also because when they work together,
Yeah,
they
you
are
see
super
it.
curious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The magic happened.
it goes back to the
It's like-
Tinder example.
Yeah, but
Things
also
happen.
because if you are an entrepreneur, you are super curious.
Yeah.
So you want to understand also
Yeah.
cultures, but you are open mind.
You're
and
hungry
know
for
that
things.
playing in a diverse team, you will go farther, more farther.
Yeah. I mean, I'm agree, but I don't know, it's my last question because I know that maybe they have some questions. But I mean, I see the difference. I mean, I'm becoming from being an entrepreneur and being in a team as an entrepreneur. But I also help entrepreneurs, I used to help entrepreneurs to really go further. And I saw the difference, like the entrepreneurs that they don't work on team, they're just thinking business. And the people that they are, as Mondragon is working, like working teams. I know that one of the challenges from Mondragon is like, all right, you are in a place in the world, but these values and this culture, how difficult it is to really bring it to another country that culturally they don't see it like that. So it's true that they have a lot of things together, the different entrepreneurs, but a lot of things in common for being entrepreneurs, but also I think that there are levels of being entrepreneurs. Are you agree with that?
Yeah. I think they are like different ways, and for me,
Different ages.
and in different ages.
That's it.
And I think that it's placed in the world for all the ways, you know. But for me, one of the things that is super important, and I think that it's an awareness in all the world, that is positive impact.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I think that it's something that we need to believe. And I think that most of the people we find and in the ecosystems we are playing around the world, they play like this.
Yeah, and they have a commonality. Like when you're in the corporate world, and it's great, and it has to be like that. But it's usually you're driven by the KPI and the P&L.
Yeah.
I mean, and you have to, and it makes sense, and you have to have that also. You know that. But when you talk to an entrepreneur, obviously, as they grow, the P&L and the KPI is super important. But when you talk to them in this instinct, it's more having an impact, as you were saying. How can I have as a person an impact? And that can be expressed in so many different ways. But
it's more fun. It's a way to know how to live, no? And it's your why in your life. You connect your why with the why of your own company. Your life is more precious.
But then in practice, it's very, very hard. I mean, you have all the challenges, and in the end, it's like, okay, I can follow my dream, I can do the project I want. But if I don't generate money and I don't generate value, I die. So it's like, in the end,
that's what I said. The P&L also can be important. Reconciling that.
But it has to be a combination. I mean, I do what I do because I believe in what I do. And it's like, of course, like if I know that if I don't make money for next month, I go broke, and I cannot continue doing what I do.
But you believe in it.
But I believe in it. So
he's like Xavier in the
But you had this dream, you know,
for many years.
Since
Since
you
I
was
was
born.
born, like since I was 13, 14 years old, I was sure that I was going to be an entrepreneur and that I was going to be working in Japan. But then it's like, of course, from the dream, from the theory to the practice, there's a very long way.
You sit down in front of my Totoro cat.
Because he's a very fan of Japan with the Totoro.
my son Xavier bought it for me. I went to the store and like, oh, that's the cartoons you watch. I'm like, yes.
The cartoons you watch.
In some way, have been a lot inspired by the Japanese anime culture here as well. Like we have watched a lot of anime. Japan has been always kind of a reference, but you also realize that when you go to Japan, things are not that way. I mean, it's like everywhere, right?
Yeah, I was thinking on another thing that entrepreneurial life sometimes is hard. It's hard. And lonely. Because of this, for me, the team is something necessary. And because of that, in MTA, we started working in another process that is well-being. Because I think that Orientals, they know something more about this.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
and we need to, with meditations, these kind of things, that we need to connect also, or I don't know if it's religion maybe, but it's something
With the soul, no?
to connect with
Introspection.
yes,
Mm.
and to see how we are playing and so on, because if not, you can finish your life like creating a lot of things, but I don't know if you are going to find yourself. Yes. So
I'm going to make a question that for the people that they want to ask, please, we are already in the time, that if you have any question, let us know and I will bring it to this great team. But something that I wanted, while they're asking, and I know that you will tell us, one of the questions, like you said, no, like you were like having this passion inside of you. How many of the people, of the young people that goes to university and doing lane, they are like that? Like, I mean, they are 100% like that, or there also there are like difficulties to really understand all of these values. That I'm totally agree with them, but I know that also like the biggest experience is really work in a team, and really everybody has the same values, work from the same way together, and how it is like that.
If you may answer, allow me to answer this. So I think that when we go to this university and like we create a company from the first day, and during 4 years we have to experience what is to be an entrepreneur. When you finish the university, like one of the things you realize is how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. And many people don't go there because I mean the objective, but the objective of the studying entrepreneurship is not that after the university you have to set up a company. I mean, this is like sitting for the long term. Like if you see the average age of the entrepreneurs is usually around 42. Once they're really well experienced.
Because it's the other way around also. You coming from the Generation X in the 90s.
Are you the X?
No, I am an X. I'm Generation X. I'm proud of it.
Now I understand.
Everything makes sense now.
Yeah.
So those who were in the 90s who went into the corporate world, because at that time it was mostly corporate. They were entrepreneurs, but not as many. So we were taught to go into consulting, to big corporates, which was nice too. But you get the skill set, you get experience, and obviously becoming an entrepreneur, like some of my friends, and I'm an, as you would say, public entrepreneur now. It can be scary, and it's always scary because you're gambling, you don't know, unknown, it's uncertain. But at the same time, if you have already an experience, and a lot of people in our ecosystem are like that, people in their 30s, in their 40s, entrepreneurs, it can be also very liberating. Because when you're in the corporation, you can do a lot of great things, but probably you don't have the degree of freedom. And as you were saying, that am I having an impact here? It's more direct. So yes, it can be scary, but when you're in your 30s and you study learning, it can be very liberating as well.
And also because I think that in corporations, to make things happen, they need also fresh air, and a lot of leaders they are working. Because for me to be an entrepreneurial is like, okay, you can have your own company, but you can transform the company from inside.
Back and forth. Entrepreneurs joining corporates, corporate people joining being entrepreneur. Anyway. Oh, that sounds to me
but we have something. Yeah.
I think they're going to open the meeting, isn't it? Yeah. They're going to open the meeting and they're going to make questions for us. Let's see how they do it.